everyone, my name is Dr. Ali, and today we'll be talking about siblings of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This is a very sensitive topic that is close to my heart because I am the caregiver of a child with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And as a parent, you want to address the complex emotions the siblings are going through. One of the things you want to start with is relieving their burden by asking them actually how do they feel. Siblings of special need kids in general, and in particular of Duchenne, will have that feeling of unfairness. Why do I have to do this while my sibling doesn't have to do this? And as a parent, I think you might use this to talk about fairness in life. And life is not fair, no matter how we hate this fact. We can use this diagram to show them that the brother or your brother have different needs. And so we have to put in more boxes to meet his needs. Another thing you can do is that you can use yourself as an example. So parents go to work, but kids do not. Some kids use glasses and braces while other kids do not. Some kids are gifted athletes while other kids are not. The other thing you want to do is maybe try to involve the sibling with the Duchenne muscular dystrophy in household in a simple way. So maybe a way is to give them a laundry and ask them like they can fold the laundry, just to address this concept of fairness. Other things that the siblings worry about is worry. They do worry about things, and you want to ask them, what are you worried about? Because you will find as a parent that some worries are not realistic, but other worries are realistic, and you do not want to tell your child that don't be worried or concerned when they have to be worried and concerned. Yes, I understand you're worried, but and then explain why you are not as worried or concerned as them, or teach them how to cope with this worry. One of the other common reasons for worry as the sibling grows up: what will happen to my brother when mom and dad get old and they cannot take care of my brother? So as a family, you need to talk about this and have a plan, because the sibling loves his brother, but the plan for taking care of the sibling may not necessarily align with what he's having for future, like moving out for college or maybe starting a new family. The next step is to involve the siblings in the disease process. You want them to be part of the solution, not the problem. And so one of the things you can do that is to use age-appropriate language, be honest and factual. And remember, you're starting a conversation that you're going to build on for a long time and for many years to come. And one of the common questions is, okay, when should I start the conversation with the sibling to tell them about the chronic illness of the brother or the sister? The best timing is now, or when you first know about it. Waiting for the future to have this conversation is not going to be a better time than now or when you first know about it. Some parents might like to do is to maintain secrecy, and secrecy usually creates burden on the family. Children are extremely smart. They're very good at picking on things when something is going wrong. They might overhear something or figure something themselves, and they will get angry at you. They will resent the fact that they were not included. The best timing is now, or when you first know about it. How do you speak to the sibling about Duchenne muscular dystrophy? You can say that the Duchenne is the name of the guy who discovered the disease, and muscular dystrophy indicates that the muscles are not working as well. And that's why you notice that your sibling often trips a lot, and at the end of the day might feel sore in his muscles. It's a condition that children are born with that makes their muscles weaker and not work as well. It's not because your sibling did anything wrong or that our family did anything wrong. It's not the kind of disease that you can catch from your brother. It's not like a flu, and it's not like a cold. There is no cure for this disease, but the doctors are working on it. But fortunately, there are medications that your brother can take and some exercises that we can do to keep the muscle as healthy as possible. We are working with a team in the clinic, in the hospital, again, to try to keep the muscle as healthy as possible. And then pause. You might get no questions, you might get follow-up questions. What I like to advise parents is to try to avoid conversations about long-term prognosis. And there are two reasons for that. One, the children tend to focus on things that will impact them now rather than long-term prognosis. Two is that talking about prognosis might change any time. So you want to be accurate. So you don't want to talk about things that might change in the future. So we really don't know because these things change as like new medications come out. So let's avoid conversations about long-term prognosis. They may experience is guilt. Guilt is common whenever something bad happens. They will feel intensely guilty and responsible. And this guilt might be out of proportion of their reality. So as a parent, you want to talk to them, give this feeling a name, explain why does it happen and the reasons behind it. Sadness is one of the other things that siblings may experience, especially when the condition of the Duchenne muscular dystrophy deteriorates and the sibling is not able to walk anymore on his own. So one of the things you might tell them that fortunately there are other ways that can help your brother move around. They're not as good as walking on his own, but it will give him some energy. It's less tiring for him and it will enable him to do things that he did not or was not able to do it before. Don't paint it as a treat or a rosy picture because it is sad and it might be a sign that the disease is not going away. Sometimes these conversations are difficult and sometimes parents get distressed, which is okay. It's okay to show your feelings and distress in front of your kids because if you never showed your distress, you will never show them how to cope. You never model how to cope with it. Yes, being a sibling of special need kid is tough, but you want to empower them and tell them that there are benefits as well. Research has shown that being a sibling of a special need kid makes them very, very resilient. These siblings tend to be more mature than their peers. They have an amazing, unique view to the world. They tend to accept differences and they have great capacity of supporting others. So now you have listened to their feelings, you have talked to them about the disease process, and the next step should be supporting them. As a parent, you want to ask yourself, is DMD or Duchenne muscular dystrophy going to take your entire life or is going to be part of your life? There are days when the needs for the DMD are intense and heavy, but there are days when they are less intense. So how do you balance your time between children when the DMD takes the majority of your time? You have to do this intentionally and proactively. And trying to create the balance is not going to be equivalent to equal time. Don't strive for that. What you can do is maybe try to allocate 10 to 15 minutes to the sibling. And be careful because if you consistently cancel this 10 to 15 minutes, this might send the message to the sibling that it's not important and not prioritized. And so what should I do to support them? How do I actually support the sibling? I'd like to tell the parent that you have the longest history with your child. So even if your child is 5 years old, you've spent the 5 years old with your child. You know what makes your child happy and makes him feel well supported. So you can start there. If they're old enough, you want to talk to your child and tell them that I understand that you do not have DMD, but this does not mean that you are not equally important. And so please, if there is a concert or event that you want me to be there, let me know and I will make the time for you. And finally, you want to make sure that the sibling spends their childhood. Support them to do what every child can do because their childhood cannot be spent taking care of the sibling.